Hi everyone, I'm Lewis and welcome to Lewis's Football Mind. Today's video I'll be ranking the Premier League stadiums for the 23-24 season. I am basing my rankings not on atmosphere, just on how much I like the stadium in general. So let's get started with 20th place, which is Molineux, home to Wolverhampton Wanderers, which was opened in 1889 and has an attendance of 31,750. A few reasons why I don't like this stadium. The main one is because of where the away end is. I don't like away ends on the side of the pitch. I'd rather it behind the goal. And the away end does go all the way along the side stand, which is hard at creating atmosphere. So, in my opinion, I prefer away ends behind the goal. But I'm not sure how you guys think. But that is one of the main factors. Another reason is I think it's quite a dated stadium. It's a decent stadium, but it's not the best level, especially seeing the new stadiums come from the Premier League. There are some rumours that Wolves could be redoing the stadium. Obviously keeping them on new, but doing it up a bit. But I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. 19th place, I've went for Goodison Park, home at Everton, and it was opened in 1892 and has an attendance of around 39,000. This is Everton's last year at Goodison Park before they moved to their new stadium on the Bradley Moore Docks in Liverpool. So, yeah, end of an era for Everton. History, this is one of the best stadiums in the league, but I'm not basing my rankings on history. So, I think it's not the best looking stadium. It's kind of like an old warehouse, in my opinion. So it isn't the best looking stadium at all. Obviously quite cramped, the seats, etc. So it is an old stadium, definitely past its historic best, and definitely time for Everton to move at the end of the season. But Everton fans will definitely miss the stadium because of how much history it has. But the stadium in general definitely needs to go. 18th place, I went for Selhurst Park, home to Crystal Palace. Has an attendance of around 25,000 and was opened in 1924. This is the stadium I went to at the start of the 22-23 season, which was also versus Crystal Palace. It's a nice ground, very historic, old retro British ground, but few factors really. You can definitely tell it's an old dated stadium just because of the facilities, some of the seats. Some seats have a minimal view, so yeah, it is quite restricted viewing in some areas of the seating in this stadium. That is the stand where the away fans are, so just along from the away fans. That's definitely one of the stands that definitely has problems. But it's not a terrible stadium. Definitely got an old British style to it, but definitely past its best. Kind of like Everton Stadium. Very historic, but probably time to revamp. There has been some rumours, like Wolves Stadium, that they are doing it up a bit, but again, not sure if that is confirmed or not. So that is why I have Crystal Palace in 18th. 17th, I went for Bramall Lane, home to Sheffield United, opened in 1855 and has an attendance around 32,000. Bramall Lane, for how old it is, I think it's a very good stadium, but obviously the older stadiums get, the more dated they get. But I think this is still a very good stadium. Definitely good enough to host Premier League matches. So this is stadium I definitely think Sheffield United should keep. Definitely got some old style to it. I do like this stadium, but the way British football stadiums are going in the future, they are more modern now. But hopefully this is one of the stadiums that can stay in the English game for a long time to come, because it is a very good stadium. But there's just better stadiums than it at the moment. But this is definitely a stadium I don't like. I like, but not good enough to be higher up in this list. 16th, I went for Villa Park, home Aston Villa, has attendance around 42,000 and was opened in 1897. So Aston Villa's ground, I think it's just it's not a bad ground, it's a decent ground. I have drove past this ground, I haven't been in it, but I think this ground's just a bit dull. It's just the same all the way around. I think the seats colour's a bit dull. I think it's just a dull stadium in general. So it doesn't really excite us looking at it or going into it. It just doesn't excite us. It does have that old style to it outside the ground, with the interior, etc. But Obviously, again, this is quite an old stadium. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this ground. It's just a dull ground, but not a bad ground. Decent ground. Definitely good enough to be in the Premier League, of course. But yeah, it's not the best ground, but definitely a ground that should be kept and not replaced. Next up, 15th home at Turf Burnley, and their stadium is Turf Moor and has attendance around 21,944. I was opened in 1883, so again a very old stadium, kind of like Selhurst Park. This ground, I used to despise this ground, but it has grown on us a bit. Burnley as a club have grown a bit on us since they got relegated and then promoted again. What Vincent Kompany's done the club, it's just they have grown on me quite a bit. And the stadium has as well, it has, like Selhurst Park, it has that retro style to it. So I think I'm probably being a bit too nice here because it isn't a very nice ground. But I just do like, and there's just something about this ground that's grown on me, and Burnley as a club has grown on me. That's probably why I've put it a bit higher than I would have 2 years ago when Burnley were in the Prem before. So yeah, this ground, I think I've been a bit too nice here with Turf Moor, but again, it's a decent ground. 14th, I went for the Vitality Stadium, home at AFC Bournemouth. Has attendance around 11,000 and was opened in 1910. And this ground, very small ground, very small. Bournemouth as a football club probably should have a bigger ground because they are a bigger football club than 11,000 seater stadium, especially for a team that has been consistent in the Premier League for a while. Obviously, came back up last season. Before that, they were in the Premier League for years under Eddie Howe, so they are becoming a sustainable Premier League club. Obviously, new owners as well. So I think eventually they will need to get a new stadium because of how small it is. But it's not a bad ground. I do like small grounds in a way, but when you're in the Premier League, you do need a decent sized stadium, and 11,000 for a club like Bournemouth, the way they are going in the future, isn't good enough at the moment. But the ground itself, I do like. 13th, I have went for the Etihad, home to Manchester City. It was opened in 2002 and has attendance around 53,000. This one is very controversial. Manchester City ground's nice. The architecture, everything, the technology is unbelievable. But it's just something about this ground. It just seems a bit dull. You know, like it's not like a world class modern stadium. Obviously, it's 21 years old, but it's not like a world class modern stadium. But I just something about this ground that I just don't like. I don't think there's much atmosphere here, not much history. There's just a stadium with a world class team playing in it. So that's how I see the Etihad. Personally, I'm not a biggest fan of it at all. But it's not a bad stadium. It's a very good stadium. But there's just something about it that it isn't for me, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why I've ranked it so low. If I was ranking best stadiums, if I was doing it best, then Manchester City Stadium would be near the top. But this is just how much I like the stadium in general. So that is why it is so low and harsh. Probably is harsh, but you know, that's just my opinion. A lot of people will disagree with us on that, but that's just my personal view on the Etihad. 12th place, I've went for Kenilworth Road, home at Luton. This is the smallest stadium in the Premier League, as it tends to around 10,536, and was opened in 1905. So yeah, this ground, it's ugly inside. I've ranked it high-ish for a ground this bad. It's just the uniqueness. When do you see a stadium where you have to walk through somebody's back garden and get in? Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, Marcus Rashford, all the top Premier League players walking through somebody's back garden to get into the dressing room. It's unbelievable. It's something quite extraordinary, and that's why I've put it so high. Because who knows, we might always see Luton in the Premier for a year, we might not. Hopefully we can see Kenilworth Road in the Premier League for a few years before it gets knocked down. Obviously there's refurbishment going on right now. I'm not sure how much they're doing to the ground, but I know they have to do work to get up to Premier League level. So yeah, this ground is it's something very unique and something we might not see ever again. But there is plans for Luton to go into a new stadium. So whether Luton in the Prem next year or the Championship next year, who knows? But this ground, I think it's got a few years left before it's getting knocked down. But obviously it's getting refurbished now. So in a way, you have to enjoy this unique experience when you can, because when do you see this in the Premier League? It's not going to happen very often, and the way stadiums are going, we might not see it much in the future. So that's why I've put Kenilworth Road in 12th place. 11th place, I've gone for City Ground. Home Nottingham Forest was opened in 1898 and has a attendance around 30,000. Yeah, I do like this ground. I love the red of the seat, that bright red. It really suits Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest matches the kit. Again, this is an old ground, but a very historic ground. One of the most historic grounds out of all these, in my opinion. So I do like Nottingham Forest as a football club. Always backed them still up last season. I always backed them up still up this season. Definitely a team that should be in the Premier League. But obviously this ground isn't the best ground, no. But there is that retro style to it that I really do like, and keeping with history is really important to a football club. Obviously, City grounds a main factor of Brian Clough's fantastic reign as Nottingham Forest manager when they won the European Cup in 1979 and 1980, I believe. So yeah, this is very historic ground and part of Nottingham Forest's history, which I really do like, and it's a really nice retro style stadium and still going very strong. And it is right beside the River Trent, I believe, and Notts County's grounds over the River Trent. So bit of rivalry there, but I do like this stadium a lot, and especially the retro style. On the top 10, I've run for Craven Cottage. Home of Fulham has a tent around 22,000 and opened in 1896. Again, this ground has grown on me. Another ground that is really old but has that retro style to it. Fulham just done a new stand which looks very, very nice. Obviously, I've heard the prices are a bit ridiculous, but it is a very nice stand in any case. But it does make the ground nicer, a bit more modern, but also got that retro style. I'm not sure if they're gonna do the rest of the stadium in the future, but having a bit of modern, bit of retro really suits well in a stadium in the Premier League. So I do really like the stadium. I do like what Fulham are doing at Craven Cottage, and keeping that modern retro style. So that is why I put in 10th place. 9th place, I've went for Old Trafford, home Manchester United. Historic rankings, this is probably second or first, but this is just how much I like the ground. It's a very good ground, it's a brilliant ground, but I have heard a lot of complaints of just some minor issues inside the ground that need done. So I have heard a lot from Manchester United fans that the ground does need done up a lot. So that is one of the reasons. It is a very nice ground, but obviously it's quite old ground, but history wise it's unbelievable. But I am being a bit harsh here as a Liverpool fan. Manchester United are fortress against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Even though we beat them 5-0 there 2 years ago. But still very hard place to go, Manchester United. So Old Trafford's a good ground, but I think I am being a bit harsh here, but there's just other stadiums that I like more. 8th place, I've went for one of the newest stadiums in the Premier League. The G-Tech Community Stadium, home Brentford, was opened in 2020 and has a attendance around 17,000. Very modern stadium. I like the colours of the seats. It blends in very nice with Brentford's kit colours and just the style of the Brentford kit. But I do really like this stadium. Very nice ground. Small ground, but definitely suits well for a club like Brentford, who are building their way up the Premier League, become more and more of a sustainable club in the Premier League under Thomas Frank, who is a superb manager. I do really like this ground. It's not too modern, it's not too big, so it's filled up every week, and I do really like the balance of this ground. That's why I've ranked it higher than Old Trafford, just because I do like the really newish modern style to this stadium. 7th, I went for Stamford Bridge, home to Chelsea. This is quite a small ground with 40,000 capacity for a club like Chelsea, who spend nearly £1 billion on players and still lose 3-1 to West Ham and finished, I believe, 12th last season. So yeah, for a club like Chelsea, it's a mid-table capacity stadium, but for a top club like Chelsea, who should be at the top end of the Premier League, it is quite a small ground. It's a ground I've been to. I have done the stadium tour at Stamford Bridge. It is a very nice stadium. The staff are very nice. The ground itself is nice, but in my opinion, it is a bit too small for a club like Chelsea. That's why I haven't put it right at the top end of this list. Sixth, I've went for St James's Park, home Newcastle. Again, history-wise, it's one of the top grounds in the country, but this is ground I've been to a few times. Obviously, went last season when Liverpool beat Newcastle 2-0. So it's a good ground. Obviously very high. Obviously, the away end is on level 7, which is one of the reasons why it's sixth, not setting off first. Is the away end. I do like the away end behind the goal. It just creates better lanes for atmosphere, especially near the end of the game and when there's last minute goals. So that's one of the reasons why it isn't in the top 3. But itself, it's a very good stadium. Obviously, the Gallagher End creates a very good atmosphere. Sisters Ground I do like, but the away end is one of the main reasons why it is sixth. So fifth place, I've went for the Amex, home of Brighton. This isn't one of the best stadiums in the league, definitely not. If I was ranking it best, it would be mid-table. But this ground in itself, I really do like, because it blends with like Brighton on the coast. Obviously, the blue and the white, it just works really well. This ground was opened in 2011, I believe, and has attendance around 31,800. So it isn't the biggest ground. Brighton didn't always fill this ground up, but now obviously Brighton are doing better. Brighton are filling up, and Brighton are playing some world class football. So Brighton are definitely a team on the up, and the stadium is very good for Brighton's rise in the future. So I do like this stadium a lot. Fourth place, I've won for London Stadium, home West Ham, and this one, yeah, it's controversial. Obviously, how far the seats away are from the pitch, but going against the games, you get used to that. But when I went a few years ago, I thought it wasn't too bad. I could see everything fine. I saw every bit of the ball in play fine. So it's not as bad as you think. Maybe if you are nearer the top of the stadium, then it might be a bit more of an issue. But honestly, it's a very nice ground. The beautiful outside. Was opened in 2012 for the Olympics, and that's attendance around 60,000. Tottenham were meant to have this stadium, but I believe West Ham outbid them, and obviously that's why West Ham have it now. But West Ham are definitely a club who have done well in the last few years, and definitely fill up the ground quite a bit. So this is a very good ground, good capacity for a Premier League stadium. So I do like this ground a lot, especially the outside of the ground. Beautiful walking round. It's a ground I've been to a few times, and it just has a very nice style with inside. But obviously the main talking point of this stadium is how far it is from the seats, but from personal perspective, it's not too bad. Third, I've went for Anfield, Liverpool. I made a rule myself not to put Anfield first because it makes it boring and everyone has a go at us. So I wanted to be a bit more fair. If I was just doing it on my own terms, I'd put this top because it's the most historic ground in the country, in my opinion. Anfield or Old Trafford are the most historic grounds in the country. So this stadium was opened in 1884 and has attendance of around 54,000, I believe. Obviously getting expanded to 61 with the new Anfield Road stand, which isn't finished yet. So this stadium, if you look at pictures from 1989, it's a terrible stadium, but look at how it's grown over the last 10-20 years. It's unbelievable what the grounds became. It's became a fortress, especially on European nights, and it's just beautiful stadium in general. The Cop End's so historic, brilliant atmosphere. So it's a world class stadium and definitely one hopefully we can keep for most of our history. Keep it modern, keep it up to date, and Anfield is definitely a keeper. But I did make a rule of myself not to put Anfield first, just to make it more interesting. Second place, I went for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, home to Tottenham, opened in 2019, has attendance around 62,850. this is the ground I've been to. I did this in another North London club who we'll get to in a minute. I just compared it. I love this stadium. Brilliant ground. The outside of the ground though, like the surroundings, is horrible. It was not a very nice experience going down the street and somebody pulling a knife up to us, and that wasn't nice at all. But I'm not really basing it on the outside of the stadium. Inside, it's just I do like this ground. It's really modern ground. Obviously, that big Tottenham end, the main end, one of the biggest stands in Europe. Kind of like the Yellow Wall, not as good as the Yellow Wall, not as historic as the Yellow Wall, but it's a very nice stand, and the technology, the architecture is superb. So it's a very nice stadium, and definitely a stadium that will be at Tottenham for many years to come. Cost around £1 billion to make as well, so you do expect a high standard from this ground. And first, I've went for the Emirates home with Arsenal. I've just put Arsenal first. I just based it on Tottenham versus Arsenal in a way. Which stadium did I like better when I visit? And I did like the Emirates better. I thought the stadium tour was better. What you got with the stadium tour was better. I thought it was really good. Obviously, this is a very nice ground. Opened in 2006 after Highbury was knocked down and has a 10,60 fans. So around the similar capacity to Tottenham. But this ground's very nice. The red, especially on the sun. I went to both these grounds on a hot sunny day, and the red, it was scorching hot, devil's red, and it looked superb, and it looks an unbelievable stadium. Atmosphere questionable, same with Tottenham's, but design wise it is fantastic. And outside it's got the museum, and it's also got some statues of famous Arsenal players and managers from the past. So it's definitely got that history from Highbury brought into the Emirates, and that is one of the reasons why I put this first. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me your stadium rankings, just on how much you like in general, and if you want me to do it based on atmosphere or just the best stadiums, tell me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.